COVID, economically, socially, I even think spiritually, mentally, everybody, look at each one of you as a partner. And I think that's our goal here as an industry and for all Fijians. So thank you. I look forward to meeting each one. Does something dodgy or unethical, that person take a lot of notes here today, but also talk with
and their views on the new norm. I urge you all to be part. Then partners, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The theme for this year's conference is real estate and COVID.
The chairman and members of the Real Estate Agents Licensing Board, members of the actual board, respected CEOs, members of the association, Real Estate Association, distinguished speakers and guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka, and a very good morning to all of you. Let me take this opportunity this morning to remind all of us, as to how lucky we are to actually host a conference like this. And this is in comparison to most other places around the world. And I want to say this again. I said it in Parliament last week. I want to say this again. You know, we should all be grateful to our frontline staff, our health people, and the members of the government who have been involved in keeping us safe and keeping Fiji safe and keep Fiji COVID-free so that we can actually do this. We are very lucky. We take this for granted, and I think we should all take this opportunity to say thank you to all our frontline staff who have been keeping us safe. And also want to take this opportunity to tell you all that it's not over, and we must also still be very vigilant in terms of COVID. You know, please still practice your social distancing as much as you can at all times, and also washing your hands, etc. It is not over. It is something that's very much unknown to us. We're just in a very fortunate position, and we should be very grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember not too long ago, about 3 years ago to be exact, I addressed most, if not all of you, at the very first National Real Estate Conference for real estate agents and salespersons. And the theme then, ladies and gentlemen, was professionalism and ethics. And it was a timely reminder to the industry players of your responsibility to the public and to your potential clients. And ladies and gentlemen, it's therefore my pleasure to once again join you, all of you, at this third National Real Estate Conference for Agents and Salespersons. I understand the theme of today's conference is impact of COVID-19 on real estate. And it actually favors the unprecedented circumstances confronted by economies the world over. In fact, it very closely is aligned to professionalism and ethics, as well as last year's theme of resolving challenges in the real estate sector. The commonality, ladies and gentlemen, here is to understand how we can actually move the sector forward whilst maintaining trust, and which today is an invaluable currency. Leading up to this year's conference, ladies and gentlemen, the known challenges that have been encountered by the real estate industry have significantly changed due to COVID-19, meaning that we have to work even harder and smarter to overcome the uncertainties that have been brought on by the pandemic. And I'm sure you all understand what I'm saying when I say uncertainties. You can see the uncertainties around the country where the real estate is actually booming in some places and it's bottomed out in others. Just on a recent trip to New Zealand, I had a quick chat with some real estate people there, and they said house prices haven't gone down, and they've actually done quite well. They continue to do well, but there are varying reasons for this. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reiterate that the real estate industry plays a very important role in our country's economy. And it's a key pillar for economic growth, creating jobs and creating critical linkages with other sectors. However, the pandemic has led to declines in disposable incomes and government tax collections and higher unemployment and lower foreign demand for merchandise exports. These, ladies and gentlemen, are expected to negatively affect financial and insurance activities in construction and manufacturing and real estate, to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we all know that the pandemic has nearly brought the real estate industry to a complete halt and a standstill. According to the Reserve Bank of Fiji, January 2021 economic review, commercial banks' new lending for investment purposes actually declined by 24.9% in 2020. And driven by the lower lending to the real estate, and that's minus 25.7%, and building and construction was actually minus 23.1% sectors. So, ladies and gentlemen, the role for you as real estate agents and your employees is vitally important to actually ensure the sector is able to bounce back, and at the same time to ensure that you yourselves are conducting yourselves in a professional and an ethical manner. And I say that, and I raise this caution, ladies and gentlemen, as in 2020, the REALB received and addressed about 60 complaints. And it's important to note that the key grievances were related to conduct of agents. And this is good information for all of you to have. Bogus agents, failure to obtain consent from the rightful owner before advertising, failure to refund deposits, and salesperson complaints against agents are actually the top issues. These are not issues that should only be dealt with the board. These are issues that you can deal with in your own offices. And it shouldn't come to the board. We want to be able to say proudly that the board has not had to deal with any complaints. So what I'm asking of you is that you need to take this particular downtime to ensure that all of these things are addressed within your own businesses. We want these issues to be in the foreground, and it must be addressed by the industry and the government together to ensure the industry can operate at its full potential. Whilst the Fijian government, ladies and gentlemen, continues to create an environment where Fijians are able to have access to affordable homes, you, the industry players, need to conduct your duties with integrity and high professional standards. And we all know that it only takes one or two to ruin everybody's name. I want all of us to remember our duty of care to the public, especially during this particular time. The real estate sector is suffering, but so are the rest of all of Fiji and Fijians. So we have to ensure to empathize and uphold integrity in all our dealings. No matter how great the trade or the commission, it is hard-earned money that our everyday Fijians save to invest in homes and place of businesses. And we must not lose sight of this. Whilst the industry has endured its own share of challenges, it is important to note that the Ministry and REALB have been working collaboratively on a number of key projects. And one priority, ladies and gentlemen, is the review of the Real Estate Agents Act of 2006. This review is actually set to bring about positive reforms in the industry and actually to strengthen professionalism and transparency. Ladies and gentlemen, continuing professional development is a vital component for agents and salespersons. And I can tell you this as a lawyer, that without your continuing professional development, you actually don't get your license to practice. You must take heed of that. You haven't gotten to that particular stage, so it's something that you need to look at. I encourage you all to participate and keep yourselves abreast with all the latest innovations and developments in the real estate sector. Soon, the REALB will be introducing educational programs to agents and salespersons to ensure that they've actually acquired the basic knowledge and understanding when dealing with their clients. This is to ensure that a minimum standard is achieved by an applicant before the actual license is granted. Ladies and gentlemen, before the crisis, the REALB was moving towards digitizing processes and creating digitally enabled services for all agents and salespersons and buyers. This financial year, the REALB has been allocated funds to develop a database of real estate agents and salespersons for the whole country. Through this database, the stakeholders will have information on the licensed real estate agents and salespersons, including any adverse reports against them. This will be a public database. It will create transparency and confidence in individuals who wish to deal with individual agents. So if you don't have a problem, nobody should have an issue. As the ministry responsible for consumer protection, I encourage all of you to work together as an industry. And to achieve this, you have to be familiar with the rules, familiar with the regulations and procedures pertaining to property transactions, and ensuring that consumers' rights are protected. Competition is, of course, good for the market, but it only is if it's healthy and done in good spirit. The most effective competitive environments recognize the value of the journey rather than just the end goal. And the notion of whatever it takes leads to all sorts of bad decisions and unethical practices. So if the real estate as a sector is equitable, its contribution to the economy is great. Ladies and gentlemen, during the course of the day, you have a number of experienced speakers who will present various opportunities to rise above this particular pandemic, and I encourage you all to come together and develop a few clear outcomes from this particular seminar. These conferences happen for a reason, for you to give your input and share with the board and every one of us as much as you can. Don't think that your idea is bad. If you have one, put it forward. If you have an opinion, put it forward. It's a place to do all of that. The REALB can present to the ministry for consideration in all our policies what has actually come out of today's conference. So I urge you all once again to be vigilant. And remember also, ladies and gentlemen, once the pandemic is done, I think you all know that Fiji as a country has put itself in a wonderful position for us to be able, and it's across all the sectors, tourism sector, real estate sector, for us to do really, really well. And I think you all know what I'm actually talking about. It may be that there'll be people clamoring from all around the world to come live in Fiji now. And we do see at the moment that there is a large amount of interest from what I actually term as the 1%ers around the world that actually want to come to Fiji and be here at the moment because of our COVID status. So bear that in mind. You know, there's a slight lull in business at the moment, but it will get better, and we'll all should be able to perform at maximum level. So with those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I won't hold you up. I know you're all keen to listen to all the other speakers. I want to say thank you to all the other government agencies that are here also, and to the ITLTB. I declare the 2021 National Real Estate Agents Conference open. Thank you. God bless you all.